Hello, mathematicians, and welcome to At Home with APS. I am Mrs. Sears, and we're going to be joined shortly by Mrs. Gaudette, and we're working today on 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade math. We're going to be doing a lot of fun things with you today, so if you have a paper and some pencil, it might be wise to go ahead and get that out right now. All right, well, we always start with a routine. And one of the routines that we're going to be working on today involves multiplication and division. You may have seen this routine before. Mrs. Gaudette has done it on one of our episodes before. It's kind of like a disappearing sequence, but we're going to have some portion of it screened. But before we get started with that, we're going to actually do the sequence together so that we can practice our forward counting sequence and our backward counting sequence using our multiples of 6. Are you ready? Perfect. Let me go ahead and get our little pointer here. So as you can see on the board, we've already got our 6 sequence mapped out. What do you notice about it? Well, we start with 6, and then we go with a row of 5. Then we have another row of 5, and then we end on 72. All right, are you ready to do some counting with me? We're going to count by 6s, and we're going to point to each of them as we go. Ready? Okay, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72. See, sometimes I need to be paying attention to where I'm looking at as well, because chances are I might forget something as I'm not looking at the sequences. I'm going to stay on this side because it might be a little bit better for you to see, and I'm not completely in front of the board. All right, so let's try that again, and I'll try to get it right. We have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72. Wow. Counting by 6s can be hard. I'm going to see if I can remember that sequence without looking. Do you think I can do it? Let's do it. So we have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. I gotta think of that. 60, 66, 72. Boy, that was kind of hard. And I didn't have it in front of me, so you guys were doing really good, like trying to say, hey, it's 60 after that 54, Mrs. Sears. All right, we're going to try and do this backward because pretty soon we're going to actually bring up a tile or a pattern that you're going to notice, and we're going to try and do it with some portion of it covered. All right, but let's try the backwards first because I want to get them in your head so you get kind of used to thinking about how this could count, all right? All right, so this time, instead of starting with our 6, we're going to start with our 72. And what are we doing? We're subtracting that 6 every time, right? Because part of division when we're doing it is actually repeated subtraction. I know sometimes we think of multiplication as repeated addition. Well, division is repeated subtraction. We're taking away that same group or that amount every single time. We're counting backwards by those multiples. Are you ready? All right, here we go. 72, 66, 60, 54, 48, 42, 36, 30, 24, 18, 12, 6. Okay, that was a lot. I think I did okay though. Let's try it again. Okay, we're counting backwards, remember. Start with that 72. 72, 66, 60, 54, 48, 42, 36, 30, 24, 18, 12, 6. All right, here's the big moment. Can I do it without looking? Okay, it's behind me. So you guys have it in front of you. Hopefully I can remember which way we're going. All right, 72, 66, 60, 54, 48, 42, 36, 30, 24, 18, 12, 6. Oh, thank you, Miss Gaudette. You were really helping me there at the end. I was trying to think and remember which ones I would do. It is. It's a lot to remember. All right. So this time we're going to have our dot pattern up there, but we're going to have a sequence of covered tiles that are going to come after that. But I want to talk to you about what do you see right now? You see this 6, right? This is a familiar pattern you might see like on a dice, right? Or on a single die in this case. So how do I know it's 6? Well, I see one group of 6, but I also see 2 groups of 3. All right. Or I guess, yes, if I look at it a little bit differently, I could see 3 groups of 2, right? Oops, I accidentally hit that, but now you're going to know what we're doing next, right? All right, so let's pretend we continued this pattern. How many do we have now? We have 12, right? All right, let's start thinking about those groups. How many groups of 3 do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see them, but I know they're there, right? Let's see. How many groups of 6 do we have? 2 groups of 6, because we have 6 here and 6 here, and that is 12. Now, if we kind of followed that same logic with how many groups of 2 we had, right? How many groups of 2 did we have in this first one? We had 3 groups of 2. So if we had this one that's covered, how many groups of 2 would we have now? 6 groups of 2. We'd have those 2 going across up here and 2 there. That makes 4. Then 2 here and 2 here. 8, 10, 12, right? Yeah, we're getting those same numbers, but thinking about those multiples and how we're counting them. All right, let's do it again. Do you think you already know what we're going to have next? How many do we have now? 18. Okay, let's talk about that. How many groups of 6? 3 groups of 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18, or 6 times 3 is 18. How many groups of 3? I think I just told you that, right? That was kind of a given. So if I have a group of 3 here, a group of 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here, that's 6 groups of 3, or 18. All right. Do you think you know the next one? I'm going to add it. How many now? Well, 24. Okay, we're still doing that. How many groups of 6? 4 groups of 6, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, how many groups of 3? We already know there's 2 groups of 3 on this one. So 4 times 2 could be 8 groups of 3, or 24, right? All right, let's keep going. Let's see if we can do this so far. What do you think the next one's going to be? I bet you've already figured it out. We're coming up on 5 groups of 6. How many? 30. All right, you guys are doing awesome. All right, so if we have, you can do this just counting by 6s like we have been doing. We go 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, right? Or we can also count by those 3s, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Wow, it's pretty cool. All right, let's see if we can finish up the sequence without having it all shown to us. So we have how many? 30. What's next? I know you already are saying it. 36, right? Because now we have 6 groups of 6. 36. What's after 36? Let's add a 6 more. 42, 48, 54. Now we have 10 groups of 6. How many is 10 groups of 6? Can you see that 10 frame? 10 groups of 6 is 60. All right, add 6 more. 66, 72, right? That was exactly what we practiced on our sequence. What do you think? Do you think we can do this backwards again? Well, let's talk about what we see first on the screen. How many groups of 6 do we have? Let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have another group of 5. That's 10. And then we have 11, 12. 12 groups of 6. All right, that's pretty cool. That's neat to do, and I think that's very interesting. If you want to do some more of these at home, you can also do this by practicing this sequence. I'm going to do it really quickly with the backwards sequence. What happened to it? I moved it to the other corner. So now where do we start with? 72. Let's see if we can do it really quick. 72. What's this one? 66, 60, 54, 48, 42, 36. I try to remember my 5s there. 30, 24, 18, 12, and 6. That was really cool. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with that. There was definitely some disappearing sequences. And as you kind of notice on our PowerPoint, we're going to be getting rid of those as you go. So you can kind of practice counting backwards on those as well. Now we're going to have Miss Gaudette come right on up, and she's got a task for you to do that involves some cool math. All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Math Tasks. So what we're going to be doing today, as always, I need you to have your math journal, a sheet of paper, something to write with, so that you're with us doing the math. Again, you can download this task off of the APS website and try it out yourself prior to me going over my thinking through the math. So, all right, we are doing place value and numeral identification. Sometimes when we subtract one number from another number, we regroup. I know Ms. Sears and I both have talked a little bit about regrouping with you, so we're going to continue that and refocus on that today. And sometimes we don't. For example, if we subtract 38 from 375, I caught myself. Did you catch that? I had to pause. What did I not say that I accidentally say all the time? Yep, and you got it. We can regroup by converting a 10 to 10 ones. So let's look at the work that they have here. They took 375, subtracted 38. If we subtract in this standard algorithm that is set up for us, this is only one of many standard algorithms, you can see that we have 5 subtract 8. Well, 8 is bigger than 5, so we can't subtract that way. Unless we get into integers, which is mid-school, so you hopefully will be looking forward to that. But right now, we can't do it. So we have to do 7, which is 7 tens, or 70. And we have to take that and take, what did it say here? They took a 10 away from it. So instead of having 7 tens, we now have 6 tens. And we took those 10 ones and put it with the 5 to make 15. So I'm just making sure you understand where these random little numbers at the top, what they are and what they mean. And then they subtracted it, getting 337. All right, I did a lot of explaining there, but I forgot to look and see if there was any information we needed here to help us solve in the future. Sometimes when we subtract one number from another number, we regroup, and sometimes we don't. What do you think we're going to be doing here? Yeah. So if I was going to underline anything, I would be looking at regroup, knowing that I sometimes will have to do it and sometimes I won't. For example, and they give us an example, do I need to circle any numbers here yet? No, I think we're fine here. All right. So let's go ahead and let's look at the next part. Find a 3-digit number to subtract from 375 so that you don't have to use regrouping. All right, do I need to circle anything? Yeah, the 375. We know we're going to have 375. What else do we need to know? Yeah, the 3-digit number. So we know we're going to have 3 digits in it. And then what are we being asked to do? That sounded weird. Don't regroup. So what does that mean for us? Right? It should be numbers that we don't have to do anything to. So we're going to take 375, and I'm going to want to subtract it. Now, let me start with my ones, because that just makes it easier. I don't want to have to regroup and borrow from the tens. So if that's the case, what kind of number would I need in my one spot? Right? We need a number smaller than 5, because if it's bigger than the 5, we will have to regroup. So what kind of digits could I have used? 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Could I have used 5? Yeah, I could have used 5 too. So let's just randomly pick out of those digits. I'm going to pick a 3. All right. And again, I am not regrouping. So what in my tens place could I have there? What digits? Ah, you guys are now remembering from the ones helping out. You could have 0 through 7. Let's do a 7. All right, in my hundreds, what digit could I have? 0 through 3. But because I need a 3-digit number, will I put 0 in there? Normally we wouldn't, because do you normally see a 0 like this, a number written like this? Normally we don't. So I personally would not put a 0 in there. Technically it is correct, but I just am one of those ones that I feel it's a little what I would call almost not proper. So I'm going to put a 3 there. And I could not put a 4 because that's too big. I could have put 0 through 3, and for my case, 1 through 3. All right, then we just subtract. We always start when we're in this standard algorithm. We always start with the ones, because if we need to regroup, we need to know. So we start with the ones. What is 5 ones minus 3 ones? 2 ones. What is 7 tens minus 7 tens? We take away that 7 tens. It's 0 tens now. And then what is our 3 hundreds minus 3 hundredths? If we take that away, that's 0 also. So what is our final answer? I'm just going to rewrite it as 2, because it just doesn't look right to me with the 2 zeros in front. So I'm going to just leave it. All right, did we answer our question? Without regrouping, subtract a 3-digit number from 375. Yep, we did that. So we can move into our next one. So let's look at this one. Find a 3-digit number to subtract from 375 so that you would naturally use regrouping from the tens to the ones. Again, let's circle our numbers. What do we need? 375 and a 3-digit number. And then what are we being asked to group? Regroup from the tens. All right, so let's think about what that means for us. I have 375. I have to subtract a 3-digit number from it where we regroup only from the tens. So what does that mean for our ones? What kind of digit would I need there? Guys, remember from our last answer, could I put 0 there? No, because we're regrouping from the tens, so no, that won't help us any. What would it have to be larger than? It would have to be larger than 5, because even 5 would not regroup for us. So could we use 6, 7, 8, right? Any of those numbers. So let's just randomly put in a number. Let's use 6. Now, I am only regrouping from the tens. So would I put a digit larger than 7 in our 10 spot to borrow or regroup from the hundreds? No, we wouldn't. So what would my digit have to be? Smaller than 7 or smaller than 70. So let's think something smaller than 70. Let's just put 2. And then what should we put here? Should we put, because remember, I just don't think it looks proper to put a 0. So we're going to put a 1, 2, or 3. What should we put? 2? Thank you for helping me out there. All right, let's go ahead and do our math here. So if I am subtracting my ones, I have 5 ones minus 6 ones, or take away 6 ones, right? That doesn't work. So I have to borrow from my tens. And I'm going to have, instead of 7 tens, I'm going to take one of those tens away and make 6 tens, or 60. And I'm going to take that 1 10 and put it with 5, which would make 15. So what is 15 take away 6? Well, I know. I'm going to use Miss Sears' idea. I'm going to use my addition because sometimes it's weird random numbers. So if I take 6, what can I add to it to make 15? 9. That works for me. All right, let's subtract our tens. I have 6 tens, take away 2 tens, which makes how many tens? 4 tens. And then I'm going to take away 3 hundredths, take away 2 hundredths, which is 1 hundredths. So my final answer is 149. All right. Great, that works for us. So let's go ahead and let's clear our board. I just actually caught on to that one that I could forward and not have to keep closing that up. It takes a few months to figure stuff out sometimes. All right, find a 3-digit number to subtract from 375. Let's just go ahead and keep circling what we know and what we need. And then it would naturally use regrouping from the hundreds place. Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead and underline that. So we need, regrouping. Thank you for reminding me. We have to regroup from the hundreds. So let's start with 375. All right, let's start with our ones. Do we want to regroup? Meaning like we did last time? Nope. So our digit has to be 5 or smaller, right? So let's just go ahead and put a 0. I, for some reason, am in the mood for a 0 right now. Now we want to regroup from the hundreds place value. So what kind of digit does it have to be? Larger than 7. Can it be 7? Nope, because 7 or 7 tens minus 7 tens is just 0 tens. I don't have to regroup. So let's just go ahead and let's put 9 in there. And then I'm regrouping from the hundreds place value, so I don't want anything like a 3. If I subtracted 300 from 300 and then had regrouped, yeah, that's right. That wouldn't work. So we have to use 1 or 2. Let's just use 2. All right, let's do our math now. Our ones. What is 5 take away 0 ones? 5. All right. What is 7 tens minus 9 tens? Our regrouping. So we're going to take our 1 100, which would leave 2 100s, and we're going to go ahead and put it in our tens. So that's 10 tens being brought over, plus our 7 tens we already have. Now I'm going to cross that out because we don't have 7 tens anymore. We have 17 tens. And 17 tens take away 9 tens. And then we have, I'm going to do the opposite and do our add. What can I add to 9 tens to get to 17 tens? Would 6 work? Nope. 7 work? Nope. 8 tens. So 8 tens plus 9 tens is 17 tens. Let's subtract our hundreds. 2 hundreds minus 2 100s is 0. So I'm not going to put that 0 there. I'm going to drop it off, which leaves us with 85. All right. Thank you for doing this task with us. There is one more activity that I would like you guys to do on your own, which is regrouping from the hundreds. It's because I played around, right? There we go. Where you would naturally regroup in all places. So your tens and your ones. You can't regroup to your hundreds unless you made a bigger number. All right, guys. So last week, I had left you with a book that we had, that we had started called Grandfather Tangs' Story. I had said to download a tanagram template and find all the different triangles you can make with 1 piece, 2 pieces, all the way through 7 pieces. So hopefully you found that there were actually many of them that you could have made. But what I wanted to do for you guys is I wanted to go ahead and read the rest of the book because this is a really good book and I didn't want to leave you hanging. So let's go ahead and finish this book. All right, Grandfather Tangs' Story, A Tale Told with Tanagrams by Anne Tombert, illustrated by Robert Andrew Parker, and published by Dragonfly Books. So last time we had learned about the 2 Grandfather Tang and Little Sue were playing with their tanagrams, and Little Sue had asked Grandfather to tell her a story about the foxes. And our first couple pieces with the foxes is we found out that they could change shape. So one of them changed to a rabbit. The other one, because of course they're competitive, just like Mrs. Sears and I, changed into a dog. But what we found out is they started to take that temperament of the animal that they had. They started to act like that animal. And of course, a dog is going to want to chase a rabbit. So he started to do that. And so the rabbit turned into a squirrel to run away. And then, so what happened was the dog changed for us into a hawk to go after that squirrel. And that's where we left off. Chow circled round and round in the sky above the willow tree, searching for Wu Ling. Wu Ling peered through the leaves of the tree, looking for Chow on the ground. Round and round, Chow circled the willow tree until he spied Wu Ling. I'm going to mispronounce this. Keek, kak, kak, however a hawk sounds, right? He shrieked as he zoomed down upon the squirrel. Wu Ling trembled. Chow's beak looked sharp enough to pierce right through him. If only I lived in a shell house, he thought. Then Chow couldn't hurt me. Chow struck out his fierce claws to seize Wu Ling. But Wu Ling dove towards the river below the willow tree. And as he dove, he tucked in his head and tail and legs, turned green, and changed into what do you think he's going to change it? Yep. He already told us, a turtle. Wu Ling climbed up on a mossy rock in the middle of the river. He thought he was safe because he looked as if he was a part of the rock. Chow circled round and round, searching and searching, until His sharp eyes spotted the turtle. Then he swooped down towards him. But just as Chow reached him, Wu Ling plunged into the water. "Follow me and you'll drown," he cried. "Don't worry," cried Chow, plunging right behind Wu Ling. His body grew longer, covered with scales. He whipped the water with his long, wicked tail. And he snapped his spiked-toothed jaws as he turned into a... Let's see if you guessed right. Crocodile. Wu Ling circled round and round as he plunged down to the bottom of the river. Chow leashed his wicked tail as he plunged after Wu Ling. Just as they reached the bottom, Chow clamped Wu Ling in his spiked-toothed mouth. "Now I've got you," he bellowed through his clenched teeth. Oh, maybe I should have clenched my teeth and bellowed. "Now I've got you." "Oh, no, you haven't," cried Wu Ling, who grew smaller and smaller and changed himself from green to gold as he transformed himself into a goldfish. And he swam out of Chow's mouth between his spiked teeth. Then he hid in a patch of cattails. Chow churned the water with his lashing tail as he charged to the patch after Wu Ling. With his head swinging back and forth and his eyes darting here or there, he searched for Wu Ling. Wu Ling knew that Chow would not give up until he found him. "I must fly from here," he thought, and he started to honk as he transformed himself into a goose. The honk gave it away, didn't it? Chow charged after him, but Wu Ling spread his wings and took to the air. Chow watched him fly to a small island where a flock of geese were feeding. By now, he was not only very angry, he was also very hungry. He decided that if he could not catch Wu Ling, any goose would make him a good dinner. He splashed through the water towards the island until he reached it. "Honk, honk, honk," cried Wu Ling, and he took to the air. A chorus of honks swelled the air as the flock of geese spread their wings to follow him. While Chow watched, the honking grew fainter, the flock grew smaller, and he felt his anger slowly drain away. "Why, oh why did we play that stupid game?" he moaned. "I'll never see Wu Ling again." He closed his eyes and sank towards the river bottom. Just as he touched it, however, he had an idea. And up he popped again, a goose himself. Moments later, Chow was flying after Wu Ling and the other geese. He could hardly see or hear them at first, but he did not let this discourage him. Calling upon every last bit of his strength, he forged ahead. Each flap of his wings brought him closer. The wedge of geese slowly grew bigger. The honking grew louder. At last, Chow found himself flying beside Wu Ling. "I'm tired of our silly game," he cried. "Come back with me to our willow tree." Before Wu Ling could answer, something stung Chow's right wing. He sank towards the ground. What happened? A hunter had shot him. Wu Ling flew down beside Chow, placing his left wing under Chow's smashed right wing, and together they fluttered down to the edge of the forest. The hunter ran towards them. "Fly away!" Chow urged Wu Ling. "Save yourself! Fly! Fly!" "I won't desert you," cried Wu Ling, and with a mighty roar, he changed into a lion. The hunter raised his bow. Wu Ling sprang towards him and knocked the bow from his hand. The hunter fled, leaving his bow behind. Wu Ling and Chow returned to their fox shapes, and Wu Ling helped Chow to his den, where he took care of him until he was mended. Did they ever play that game again? Asked little Sue. Many times, said her grandfather, but they were very, very careful. That was a good story, said little Sue. Let's do another. Grandfather arranged his 7 tanagram pieces. Is this story going to be about a man? Asked little Sue. Yes, said her grandfather. He's old and he's tired. He wants to sit under a tree and rest a while. Is his grandfather like you? Asked little Sue. Yes, said grandfather. Just like me. Little Sue arranged the 7 pieces of her tanagram beside her grandfather's. Is that a little girl? He asked. Yes, said little Sue. Just like me. She'll sit and rest beside the man. That will make him very happy, said Grandfather Tang. And now, little Sue, what will we do? We'll sit and rest together until Mother calls us for supper, said little Sue. That will make me very happy, said her grandfather. And that's the end of the book. I loved that one. So see if you can take those tanagram pieces and also make shapes of animals.
All right. You guys are actually very lucky today because you're going to get 2 stories. We'll see how far we get because we do want to make sure we play a game with you today. But I thought I would read an additional story. And remember, you can do stories with math all the time. This book is called The Sunday Scoop, and it's by Stuart J. Murphy and illustrated by Cynthia Jabbar. It is published by HarperCollins Publishers. All right, The Sunday Scoop. Are you ready? Let's take a look. So it looks like there's a little girl. She's holding a cat. It says school picnic next week. Wonder what they're going to be having a picnic on. Did you recognize the title had the word Sunday in it? Yeah, sounds like ice cream could be a good bet for that picnic. Do you have a favorite flavor? I know I do. All right, Winnie, the lady in charge of the cafeteria, was running the ice cream booth for the school picnic. Lauren, James, Emily, and Winnie's cat, Marshmallow, were all on hand to help her out. I have a stupendous idea. Let's make sundaes, said Winnie. Cool, said James. If we make all different kinds of sundaes, we'll have the best booth at the picnic. I'd like a Sunday booth. That sounds like a great idea. Put on your thinking caps, said Winnie. What kind of ice cream should we serve? Chocolate, said Lauren. That's my favorite. Bubblegum, said James. Peppermint stick, said Emily. Whoa, that's too many, complained Winnie. Let's just have vanilla and chocolate. Sounds like a good bet. What do you think? I think so. All right. Now, what's the scoop on sauces, said Winnie. Vanilla with caramel, said Emily. Caramel is my favorite. I always wonder if I say caramel or caramel, but I say caramel. Caramel's my favorite. Chocolate with hot fudge, said Lauren. They already sound yummy, said James. Yeah, it's yummy to my tummy. All right. Fabulous, said Winnie. I'll draw up a chart on my chalkboard. If we have 2 kinds of ice cream and 2 kinds of sauce, that makes, let's see, how many sundaes? How many different kinds of sundaes? How many could we make with that? Let's take a look at that. All right. So we had what kinds of flavors? Let's make sure we have that. We had chocolate. I'm just going to put chalk. And we had vanilla, right? All right. What were our 2 sauces? We had, I believe it was hot fudge. See if I can write that. And we had caramel, right? Yes. All right. So if we're looking at just our flavors that we have for chocolate, what would we have? We could have chocolate with hot fudge or chocolate with caramel. I didn't finish doing the vanilla, right? So we'd still have on our vanilla, we'd have our hot fudge. I know. Let's see. And some caramel. I could put HF and car. It's going to sound kind of strange. All right. Let's see if we were right. It looks like we have 4, said James. Was that right on our picture too? Let's see. We had vanilla hot fudge, vanilla caramel. We had chocolate and hot fudge and chocolate and caramel, right? Cool. All right. What about nuts, said Lauren. And sprinkles. Sprinkles are my favorite. Right on, said Winnie. Sundays need toppings too. I hope that will be enough different combinations, said Emily, frowning. It's more than you think. All right, so they had what now that they're adding? They're adding sprinkles and nuts. Let's see. All right, so what am I going to need to put down here? So underneath my chocolate and my hot fudge, I'm still also going to have, I'm going to just abbreviate sprinkles and nuts, right? But I've got to figure that it's got to go for my caramel too, right? So on my caramel, I'm going to also have sprinkles and nuts. But I got to do my vanilla too. So on that hot fudge, sprinkle, nuts, and caramel. I'm going to do sprinkles and nuts. All right, let's start seeing how many combinations is that. Let's do this in a different color so we can see. So we have our chocolate hot fudge and sprinkles, right? We have our chocolate hot fudge and nuts. I know this is going to look really crazy, huh? We have our chocolate caramel and sprinkles, and our chocolate caramel and nuts. All right, that's 4 just in the chocolate. Do you think it's going to be the same over here on the vanilla? Probably so. Let's see. So we have vanilla, hot fudge, and sprinkles, vanilla, hot fudge, and nuts, the vanilla caramel and sprinkles, and the vanilla caramel and nuts. 4 again. So let's do the math on that. We had 2 types of ice cream, right? 2 different sauces and 2 different toppings. How many is that all together? We should have 8 all together, right? All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that because that's going to make it kind of confusing as we go along on the story. And we may not be able to get through the rest of this before we have to play our game, but let's see where it goes from that. Huh?
Could we have sprinkles and nuts on whatever we want?
You could.
Uh-oh, would that make another combination?
It would make a different combination that you could do as well. But in this case, they're trying to figure out how many different combinations did they have. All right, so you remember Emily said, I hope that that will be enough combinations. It's more than you think, Miss Winnie said. Well, let's see what they did. Each Sunday we'll have 1 flavor of ice cream, 1 sauce, and 1 topping. All right, so if we go by that logic, Miss Gaudette, we would only have 1 topping. We couldn't have the 2 toppings of the sprinkles and the nuts. All right, so the first combination, let's see if I did that right, was vanilla, hot fudge, and sprinkles. Oh, I get it, said Lauren. Or you could have vanilla, caramel, and sprinkles. That's great, said James. Now there are 8 different combination choices. That's plenty. Okay, let's check our chart. Does that kind of look like mine? Yeah, we had our vanilla hot fudge sprinkles, vanilla hot fudge nuts, vanilla caramel sprinkles and nuts, or we had our chocolate hot fudge sprinkles. We had hot fudge or nuts, chocolate caramel sprinkle and nuts. That's 8 different kinds or combinations that we could do. All right, I know we're getting close to our time and we want to make sure we play the game. So we will come back and we're going to start, as we recap how many different flavors we started with, we're going to come back to the day of the picnic. I'm going to invite Miss Gaudette on up here so we can play our game.
All right, everyone. So this game that we're going to be playing, I relate it very similar to Battleship.
Okay.
Because in Battleship, you place your ships in a certain order, and then the other person asks you a yes or no question. A1, yes, no, is the answer. What you're going to need to do, this one is called decimal place value. You're going to need a half of an egg carton, or what you could do is you could go ahead and just have either little bowls or something else where you can make a number where people don't know about it. So I'm going to make sure that Miss Sears has her egg carton.
Okay.
You'll notice what I have done is I have went ahead and placed the place value that we're going to be working on. We'll have a hundreds, a tens, a ones. I tried to put a decimal in there. It didn't quite work. Then we'll have our tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. I also made each one of us digit cards that you will need. And what I did is I took an index card, a 3x5 index card, and then I made the digits 0 through 9 with no repeats. So we only have 9 cards here, which does help when we're asking the numbers because there'll be no repeat of numbers.
Okay.
So just a little hint for me, I shouldn't have told Miss Sears that. And I just cut what you're to do. Oh, and the other thing we have in our little bag is just, again, the name of the place value. That if you wanted to, you could just put a piece of paper in front of it, like with a little tent. You could have done that. But because we were going to be holding yours up and we'll be showing you our number going back and forth, I knew that that would be a little too much. I also played this with my son, and he kept getting confused, even with this tape move, because when he kept moving around, it kept moving. So I thought it was best just to put it straight on the egg
So
carton.
what are these, like, initials, I guess?
H is for hundreds.
Okay.
T is for tens. 0. O is for ones. THS is for tenths.
Tenths.
H for HTHS, hundredths. And then TH, just like with the thousands, THS is thousands. So I just abbreviated it. So the first thing that we got to do is we got to take our digits and make a 100 number with 6 place values, starting all the way as high as hundreds, smallest to thousands, and we have to have a number in each place value.
I'm thinking about mine now.
So hopefully I can't see Miss Sears, and she can't see mine, but I'm also not going to look because that's just cheating. Okay, I have a number.
My number fell out. Hopefully you didn't see it fall.
No, she's still working on hers. I'm going to show you mine so that you get an idea that when we start working, she's going to have to ask me yes or no questions for each place value. The other materials that you're going to need is you're going to need a writing utensil and a paper, because if you don't have that, you start losing
So
it
should
somewhere.
I be writing down clues over here?
Yes.
Okay. Good thing I had a handy dandy.
All right, so I'll start us off to help you out. So example, you can say, is the 100, not hundredths, 100 place value odd or even? You could say, did 1? Is it 2? You could say,
I didn't care.
I'm one of those ones where it just has to have an answer of yes or no. You can group stuff together. Is it odd? Is it even? Or you could say, is it the digits 0, 1, 2, 3? So this is why it's like Battleship. It's very strategic on how you do this.
I kind of wrote those columns just so maybe, I don't know if that will help me, but it's just helping me.
Okay, I'll show you how I'm gonna do it.
How you're doing it.
All right,
so.
I'm going to start. So my question to you is your 100 digit odd?
It's my 100 digit odd. Yes, it is.
All right, you notice I put 100 and then I put odd, check mark. It is true. Now you'll see what my next question is. Now it is Mrs. Sears' turn. We only get 1 question per turn. Okay. And even if it's a no, it's still information for you.
Okay. Is your hundreds digit even?
All right, so here's mine again. We're looking at hundreds. So what would I say? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, yes it is.
Okay, so it's an even number. So I could put, like you said, H and even with a check mark, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can do it any way how you keep your notes. This is how I do it.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to stick with my hundreds. That's just me. I could go all over the place just like you do with Battleship. I know my son does. He just randomly calls out numbers. I'm always have a pattern how I'm asking. And so this one, since I know it's odd, I know that odd numbers are digits. Sorry, not numbers, digits. 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. So I'm going to ask Miss Sears, is it 1, 3, or 5?
Is it 1, 3, or 5? Yes, it is within that range.
All right, so what have I eliminated?
Ah, that was clever.
I've eliminated 7 and 9. I know that it's not 7 or 9.
So then rather than randomizing like certain numbers, like if I was just going to a 1, 3, 5, I'm wasting my turns, right? It's kind of like that 20 questions. I want to be thinking strategically in the way that I'm asking them. Okay, I think I've got a clue.
All right. Now, see, I'm giving my strategy away to Miss Sears this time.
But that's okay, because this is part of it, because I could change the way that I'm questioning next time. All right, so you had a hundreds number that was even.
All right, so I'm going to show you mine again.
All right, and let me think. We want to try and get as many as we could. So evens would be 2, 4, 6, or 8. Ooh, I have only 4. You had, I think, 5.
Oh, you missed one.
Oh, which one?
0. 0 in a number, if that 0 digit is at the end,
I had no idea. Oh, man. See, I would have been all off then. Okay, so let's see. Let me try and see if I can guess a range here, kind of like what she did. Let's see. Is it between 0? Is it within either a 0, a 2, or a 4?
What was my answer? Nope.
Nope. Okay,
Nope.
So then that leaves either a 6 or an 8.
All right, Miss Sears.
Okay.
Is your hundreds a 1?
Is my hundreds a 1? Mm-hmm. Let's see. What do you think? No.
All right. So I crossed it out. So I that's how I keep track.
Okay. So I know hers could be either a 6 or an 8. I'm going to say, is your hundreds 6?
Nope.
Okay, so that means it's got to be an 8, right?
So she doesn't have to ask me another question. That's the other strategy.
All right. Let me see
All
if I
right,
can get
Miss
this.
Sears.
I want to do it like kind of what you're doing too. I thought like originally maybe have those underneath it. So I know there's an 8.
Miss Sears,
800
is your
something.
hundreds a 3?
Is my hundreds a 3? Yes, it is.
All right, so I can put 3 down here, and now she's ahead of me one question now.
Okay. Let's see. So do we have to go in line like the 10s? Okay. So I know it's not an 8, so that can eliminate some digits. Let's see. I'm going to just do it. Is your 10s digit, is it odd or even?
All right, what is the answer? It's odd.
Odd. Okay. So we have 10s.
Wait.
What?
You lost a turn.
What did I do?
It was not a yes/no question.
Oh.
I answered odd or even. You had to ask, was it odd?
Wonk, wonk. Okay. So but I forgot the answer anyway.
Well, good. I answered it. Darn it. All right, everyone.
I think it was odd. I don't remember.
As you can see as you go through that I know that Miss Sears has a 3. So I don't have to ever ask, is it 3 again? Or I can start eliminating it. So you start, as you go through, you can start having that. So play this with someone else at your house, either a sibling, cousin, family member, whoever, and try it out. Use those strategies, but don't give them those strategies.
I think it was a good turning point that I made a mistake on that with the yes or no. So that actually can help them home at the game. So
Yep. Has to be a yes or no answer. So, all right, everyone. We were able to do a very fun activity with our, the tiles, with our 6 tiles. We had a fun activity with our task and regrouping. Then we moved into 2 books today. Lucky you guys.
And probably finish the other one tomorrow.
And then did a fun decimal place value. So thank you so much for joining us today at Home with APS. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Did pretty good.